LTD break. international flair will be on display this evening as we welcome you to Louisville, Kentucky. It's Louisville City playing host to a team that played in La Liga last year. Leganés is in town to take on the boys in purple. Michael Watrang and former Guyana national Chris Nurse with you as we get ready for this matchup tonight. Lou City has been excellent. They're the best team in the USL Championship. They're great in the attack. They're great defensively. What do you expect from this group tonight?
Yeah, and I think, as you mentioned, right now they're the best team in the USL Championship, and I think they're going to continue to get stronger as we go into the second half of the season. Not only are they getting players back from injuries, but they're putting a stronger focus onto their defensive unit and not conceding goals. You can really see where they're at right now. With the players coming back and a stronger defensive unit, they can only keep going forward.
Let's take a look at tonight's player profile presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. And it's Taylor Davila, a man that leads the team with 5 assists this year.
Yeah, he's a very gifted player. You can see the talent he has in that left foot. If you give him time and space, he has the ability to thread balls for his teammates. But on the top of the box, he also has the ability to convert chances for himself. So he's definitely one of the most creative and dangerous players in the attacking third for Louisville City.
And he's a man that really is the maestro of this attack. It's a deep overall team that can score a lot of goals. Davila, 5 assists. He scored a couple times. He'll be in the middle of the field pulling the strings tonight. And you take a look at Leganés, and a team that has been founded for nearly 100 years. They bounced back and forth between La Liga 2 and then into La Liga. They were relegated at the end of last year, but it didn't stop them from taking out teams like Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. We don't know what to expect from the group tonight, but they did play Pumas the other day. And we know that one star from a team that was promoted a couple of years ago as the 25-year-old forward, Diego Garcia, who scored 12 goals during their promotion year 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think there's always one consistency with top-tier teams, especially, as you mentioned, playing in La Liga. But beating Barcelona this season is that if you give them time and space in and around the 18-yard box, they'll punish you. The game might be matched for intensity, for energy, for work rate, but the difference will be the quality in between the two 18-yard balls.
It'll be a fun matchup here tonight. Leganés fell 2-0 to Pumas a couple nights ago, and in their North American tour, they get Louisville City tonight. The boys in purple back in action here on the home pitch. We'll take a look at the starting 11s and have the opening kick in this friendly next.
Toyota gives you the power of choice with more electrified hybrid choices than anyone else.
Like this new all-hybrid Camry.
And the stylishly fun-to-drive Corolla. Now get 4.99 APR financing on a new 25 gas-powered Corolla or any new Camry. Lease a Corolla from $199 a month or Camry from $279 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. That's the power of choice. Toyota, let's go places.
Summer is heating up with beach vacations, road trips, backyard barbecues, and fireworks. So fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. MyCard gives you 3 points for every dollar you spend on transportation and travel, and 1.5 points for everything else, all with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. Don't have MyCard? Don't flip out. Flip the balance with a balance transfer and fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Hello, builders.
Box Monday. Bricks meet balls.
Should we dive in?
First, build it up.
All right.
Then bring it down. An all-new Lego Masters.
It's really beautiful. Let's smash it.
Then an all-new quiz with balls.
Mom, we got this. I hope it's you. I don't want to get wet.
We back, baby.
Don't miss an all-new Lego Masters followed by an all-new quiz with balls. Monday on Fox.
What makes the Ohio Valley unique is it has the ability to produce all modes of weather, but in a crippling and severe way.
You couldn't really tell a distinct tornado. It just looked like heavy rain until the debris started flying. And
that's basically what the Ohio Valley brings. Everything.
And we are going to see more severe weather in the Ohio Valley.
We all have ties to Kentuckiana. We know what happens around here. That's where you're going to get the most accurate information to help you plan what's going on in your hometown.
We welcome you back here to Louisville, Kentucky as we close in on kickoff tonight in this international friendly, one of the 2 this month for Louisville City. They'll get the Bundesliga side, Frankfurt, at the end of the month as we take a look at the starting lineups for the match, brought to you by Fifth Third. A couple Academy kids in the starting 11, and Isaac Cano and Brandon Days. What do you see out of the 11 tonight?
Yeah, and it's good for the Academy kids to be surrounded by senior pros. I think that's where they're going to learn the most, of having those players behind them who can literally joystick them, put them in positions, and pass on the experience. Of course, it does weaken Louisville's best roster a little bit, but I think there's enough strength, enough quality, enough enthusiasm in young legs to really go out there and compete tonight.
Conversely, for Leganés, this is their starting lineup tonight. Juan Soriano gets the start as the team's goalkeeper. 27-year-old has spent 10 years in pro football.
Yeah, I think there's no question mark on the quality that you're going to see on the pitch tonight. Obviously, there's two different teams on the pitch. Louisville are smack bang midway through the season. Leganés, this is just their second game of pre-season, so the expectations or the objectives for each team are completely different. For Danny Cruz, I expect it's getting players fit, getting players healthy, getting the match minutes without picking up any more injuries. And obviously a similar objective for Leganés, continue to build their match fitness as they build back towards the start of their season. So I don't think either team is essentially completely results focused tonight, although winning matters, momentum matters. You always want to win the game. I'm not sure that's the primary focus of the game tonight for either team.
Louisville City is in the Navy kits tonight. Leganés is in the white with the blue stripes here this evening, and we're underway on this Saturday night. It is La Liga's Leganés against Louisville City here this evening. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and the rest of our team inviting you to come hang out with us here tonight. And Danny Cruz expects to play just about everybody that is available here tonight, has a system that he'll employ this evening. Meanwhile, you take a look at this Leganés side. They were relegated from La Liga down to La Liga 2 at the end of last season, so they've had to revamp this roster, and it's a new coach as well in Paco López, so they're trying to sort things out as they get ready for the start of their year in just about a month. Yeah,
and obviously they're coming off a 2-0 defeat against Pumas. Some of the reports state that they struggle to get to grips with the temperature and the humidity in this part of the world at this time of year, which is challenging for even the ones living here. So you can imagine when they arrive over here, having not been it for a long time, and the challenges that you can face. But I think there's no question mark on the quality of players that they have at their disposal, and if you give them time and space in and around the 18-yard box, they're players that are going to punish you.
To learn more about Commonwealth Credit Union and how we can help you meet your financial goals, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. That is WeSeeYouDifferently.com.
One of the questions we had asked Danny Cruz, what will be the focus for the team in today's game? Is it going to be more about keeping a clean sheet and defensively organized, or is it going to be more about them being on the ball? And he said the focus is how they build out of them being in the ball. Against Leganés, we asked, do you envision yourself having the vast majority of possession of the ball? He said he'll be very surprised if they have the vast majority of possession of the ball. So I think it's really going to be a really good defensive exercise for Louisville City to see how they're able to contain the quality of some of these players. But as we spoke about early in pre-season, you're not necessarily going to see the best of Leganés, but you're still going to see a lot of quality on display.
For Louisville City, they just wrapped up a window where they played 7 times in a 17-day stretch, ending with that 1-0 victory against Colorado Springs. They hopped through all 4 time zones in the United States during that window, and this is their 5th international friendly over the last couple of years. Their lone win coming in September against Cancun 4-2 in that matchup. They gave up a couple late second half goals, but otherwise played extremely well against Cancun. And what will happen here this evening as they take on this Leganés group that has bounced back and forth between La Liga 2 and La Liga. They are promoted for a 5-year window at the end of the 2010s decade. They won La Liga 2 after being relegated at the end of the decade in 2023 and 2024. They were promoted last year, and they were right on the cusp of getting outside of relegation zone, but 1 point shy of that, being sent back down to La Liga 2. That will start here in just about a month. And they have the first corner kick of the night. Here's Roberto Lopez, lines it up, the 25-year-old who's in his 2nd season with Leganés, 17 appearances last year. Left footer loops this ball near post. It skims one head, rolls back out. Lopez arcs this on the 2nd ball on the cycling kick opportunity there from Ima Gane. He whiffs on it, and it gets rolled back to Loss, who's under a great deal of stress, and he is able to force feed that one out.
think it's important to note that Louisville did get a couple of days rest in this break. Players had 4 or 5 days off to kind of recharge their brains, recharge their batteries, try to build that spark again going into the second half of the season. And playing Leganés tonight is probably a much wanted break, given they've played Loudon 4 times, I think, already so far this season. So they'll just be glad to be playing a team that begins with L, but it's not Loudon for once, given the number of times they played. And that's some of the good and the bad of the fixtures and the way things have rolled around. Sometimes you can get a little bit frustrated having played the same opponents. You can sometimes lose that spark or that energy, and just having the opportunity to freshen things up, keep players excited and engaged, I think is as much welcomed as anything else.
Yeah, Amadou Diaz spoke about that fact that in this match, you're going to see somebody that's completely different, a different style of play, a different tempo, a different skill set than what they're used to playing in the USL Championship, the Open Cup, the Jaeger Cup. And getting this opportunity against Leganés, you get a group that has a variety of players, a variety of different stops along their routes to get here to the team that calls itself home in a community, a part of Madrid, Spain. And here goes Diego Garcia, our player to watch tonight. Garcia loops this ball in, it stings down and then miss-hit, allowing Las to dive to his right and stymie that ball from Duke, the 25-year-old who represents Cape Verde at the international level.
Great attack here from Leganés. Delivery into the box is brilliant, just doesn't connect with it as he would have liked, but the build-up play was brilliant, direct combination play, ball in behind, great cross, just scuffs the shot on target, but you can see the danger that Leganés can possess if you give them time and space in possession.
Talk about scuffing, that's a mistake there. Leads to this chance. Serrano was the intended target of the cutback. He now tracks it down. Jansen Wilson settles and resets. Davila cuts it through the middle, circling on top of this, lacing the ball just wide left. Cameron Lancaster had his sights set on an opener.
Some great interchange in play here, and it's a great run. If the movement's good, the ball in behind is good. I think the angle's just a little bit too tight there for Lancaster to go on target. And give it, if his teammates makes a run back post here, it's an easy tap in, but the way he strikes it, it's always curling away from goal. Never really troubled Soriano, but the build-up play was definitely threatening from Louisville City.
With soccer season here, SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of Lou City. Get all your Lou City tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
Just needed Morris to gamble a little bit there, making the run to the back post. He would have had an easy tap-in. But Louisville City showing very early in this game that they're able to break down this Leganés defense and creating goal-scoring opportunities for themselves.
Well, through the first 16 matches of the year, Lou City leads the USL and wins. They have the fewest losses in the league, and they're second in all the USL in goal differential, goals scored, goals allowed, and clean sheets for the year. It's a team that does everything well. They've lost just once during the regular season.
Yeah, I think Danny Cruz is a coach that many head coaches you have to watch out for, because you look at where they currently sit in the standings, and his focus is on.
Cano takes that ball away and rifles the ball high and over everything, and a chance there.
Danny Cruz's focus is on not allowing teams goal-scoring opportunities, having a better goals against record, and then becoming stronger with the players coming back from injury. So you're looking at a team that's already #1 in the USL Championship and focusing on improving those parameters there. They can only get stronger and harder to beat as you go into the second half of the season. I think that's one of the strengths of his mentality. He doesn't necessarily get carried away with the wins and the goals scored. He stays focused on the principles and the foundation, at least, of long-term success.
And certainly for as good of a run as they've had these last couple of years, being upended by Charleston a couple of years ago in the Eastern Conference Final. Rhode Island took them out on this pitch after Lou City had looked unbeatable on this field. And off of a quick reset, 5th-3rd free kick, Cano curls this ball in, it trickles, it bounces off of the chest of Serrano and right into the palms of Soriano.
Somehow that ball stayed out of the back of the net when it seemed harder to miss than it was to score. Serrano, a player who's been so dangerous from those situations so far this season. The ball just bobbles up at a weird time and ends up staying out the back of the net, but it should really be 1-0 Louisville City right now.
Serrano has scored 6 times during the regular year. That's #2 to Philip Goodrum on the roster for the campaign. And we expect to see more of this as the night goes along. End-to-end play here in this friendly between Louisville City and Leganés, La Liga 2's side, after being relegated at the end of last year. From a player's mindset, what goes through your head playing in friendlies at any time of the year?
I mean, if you're any of the players for Louisville City and even the organization of Louisville City, I think they're very comfortable where they are in the food chain of soccer and what their goals and aspirations are. Of course, there's young players on this Louisville City roster that they'll be looking to develop and sell and push on to bigger leagues. So it's a fantastic opportunity to showcase some of that younger talent, to measure themselves up against some of the big teams, and of course to try and expose them and see if they can generate interest for some of those players. So I think for those young players, it's about going there and giving your best efforts and showing your intelligence and your technique, and see if you can open up doors for not just within the Louisville City ecosystem, but also open yourselves up to opportunities that may come overseas.
Here's Josh Jones. He shuts that opportunity down and tries to ignite an attack. Davila. Cano. Had his sights set on Serrano. He was trying to split the two central defenders, but it bounces off of Imagane. 10 minutes gone by in this one. Entertaining so far. Scoreless between Louisville City and the Spanish side, Leganés. Davila. Serrano. Good touch by Lancaster. Lancaster laces through the hands of Soriano and out for the first corner for Louisville City tonight.
On this occasion, Lancaster does have a good angle to get the shot off, and he connects with it very well. Probably just wants to go a little bit more to the left to the goalkeeper. It's a fairly straight angle and fairly straightforward for Soriano to save, but it's a good strike there from Lancaster. Again, Louisville have been the ones banging on the door, creating goal-scoring opportunities right now.
First Wi-Fi corner of the night for the boys in purple. Taylor Davila has the chance as he boomerangs this ball around. Headed away as Adams the target. Jansen Wilson volleys. It dips, but not in time.
Again, Louisville City continuing to create the best goal-scoring opportunities in the opening 10 minutes of this game. It's a strike from distance. It's not too bad at all, but it talks about the confidence that this team has right now, that they're the aggressive team. They're the ones taking the most shots. They're the ones on the front foot right now.
Jansen Wilson, a player that Danny Cruz wants to see some more consistency of after a really good year last year. Was rewarded with a robust contract. And so far this season has scored twice and assisted thrice.
Yeah, one of the players that Danny Cruz actually thought he was going to lose last year. Made some reinforcements because they thought they were going to lose him, but they held on to him. But again, Danny Cruz also talks about he's the one who's having to be responsible for negotiating these contracts when teams are interested in their players and sending them overseas or to bigger teams. So it's probably something that he also has in the back of his mind also.
It's a terrific run here from Serrano. Throws it to the back post. Lancaster, a leaping chance. And his third early opportunity whistles wide.
Yeah, I think Leganés may be a little bit guilty of underestimating this Louisville City attack. That's the third opportunity that Lancaster's had. If he'd been more clinical, he's got himself a hat-trick already in the opening 15 minutes of the game, but great work from Serrano. It's actually great acrobatics here from Lancaster to get onto the ball. Just a little bit more accuracy on the connection, and that would have been maybe goal of the season contender. Definitely one of his best goals of all time. But again, brilliant play from Louisville City to create the opportunity.
Lancaster, 80 career goals in the USL Championship. That's third most in the history of the league. Louisville City getting close. Not broken through yet. This pass rolls all the way across. Morris knocks it away, and now surging is Ruben Pena. Pena swings it across. Jones responds, and Serrano gives it away, however.
That's where Louisville City just have to be careful in those areas there. When you're in the defensive third and you win possession of the ball, you don't want to give it back to Leganés so cheaply in those situations. You want to make them work for it. You don't want to give them easy opportunities because they can make you pay.
Cisse. Sainz.
As we spoke about, one of the main differences between the two teams will be the quality in both.
Here's an attempt from Roberto Lopez that goes wide right.
It'll be the quality in both 18-yard box. As you can see, Louisville City have done well in possession of the ball. They've been aggressive. They've been as physical, they've been as intense as their counterparts. But you would expect that the quality in and around the 18-yard box will be the difference for Leganés when it comes to the final scoreline. I think one thing that's already stood out to me in these opening 15 minutes, being a La Liga side who have played being a Spanish side that played in La Liga, they're not always building out the back short every time they take a goal kick. There's been times when they've gone short, there's been times when they've gone a little bit more direct. So, you know, maybe a lot of South American, North American countries are known for replicating what's done in La Liga or in the Spanish countries. And it's interesting to see that when you see them up close, it's not always playing out the back and playing short passes. It's playing what's based upon what the opponent's showing you. If the space is behind, they're willing to bypass playing out from the back and playing in behind direct. And if the team drops off and the space is in front, then they'll play for the back. So it's so interesting to see that the tactics and the styles that many teams replicate when they're in a professional environment, the choices they actually make in possession of the ball.
We're seeing that happen right now. Leganés trying to break through this pressure of Louisville City.
And I say that because I'm comparing last time Louisville City played against Loudoun, and Loudoun were literally playing out from the back every time, irrespective of whether there was space or not. And you're seeing a La Liga team making different choices in possession of the ball. Who's right, who's wrong? I don't think it's a case of right or wrong, but it's maybe just different approaches to how they build out in their game models.
That direct pass pilfered by Josh Jones, who glides past the first man. Davila winds this ball up all the way across the park. Jake Morris chases and does not get there in time as it goes out for a goal kick. Fans, if Louisville City wins, you win. This season, Louisville City has partnered with Penn Station to give you a free sub with the purchase of another. The offer is valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Penn Station location to redeem and say Louisville City won at checkout, or use the promo code LouBogo25 online. Another attacking defensive play there leads to this charge. Rolled back, it's Days. Brandon Days laces right into the chest of a defender, and that showcases the athleticism of the 16-year-old.
Fantastic work here from Days to get this strike off, but there's match-winning goals, but that's a match-winning block or interception there. Just as the ball's about to nestle in the back of the net, then ask me how he gets himself in front of it, but he saves the goalkeeper from having to make a save with that block. Brilliant defending, but fantastic work there from the youngster Days.
Louisville City boiling right now. Can they break through? It is Serrano laying it up top. Jansen Wilson whistles this ball. Jansen Wilson scores. A moment that had been brewing. Louisville City finally break through after several close calls. A 1-0 lead.
Several being the right word. I think it's probably the 7th shot that Louisville had in his opening 17 minutes. And we spoke about giving the Leganés players time and space around the box. How about if you give Wilson time and space in the box? What a beautiful first touch to set himself, adjust himself around the ball. And I don't think you'll see better strikes than that. Textbook. Leaves the goalkeeper no chance. Soriano doesn't even bother to dive because he knows he's not getting close to that one. But that's what happens if you give Wilson time and space around the box. He can punish you.
Jansen Wilson scored the 3rd goal in the 4-2 win against Cancun in last year's friendly. And he nearly missed a volley 5 minutes ago. This time, there is no mistakes. That is a world-class goal in this international friendly, and it is Louisville City 1 and Leganés 0, 18 minutes in.
Jensen has proven to be that type of player over the past couple of weeks. He's started some games, he's come off the game, but he seems to have touches in the game that really make a big difference. He's come onto the pitch and been on the end of deliveries, first touch finishes into the back of the net. Again, that's probably one of his most influential touches that he's had in his opening 20 minutes, and of course it's the touch that makes the difference in the game, puts his team 1-0 ahead and probably gives them the relief that they deserve given the amount of chances that they created. You worried that the chance they created they hadn't taken, that they could potentially end up going down a goal, but he now had the quality to put it away and give them a little bit of a breather.
Leganés trying to get away from this pressure. It was Days that started that whole sequence with the steal in the midfield.
For Leganés, of course, it's not the best start to pre-season, going down to Pumas 2-0 in a game that was described as being very one-sided. You're now coming to compete against Louisville Championship side, a very good USL champion side, Louisville, and you're down 1-0 in the opening 20 minutes of the game. So in terms of building momentum, confidence, it's not the best start that Leganés, I envisioned, would have wanted traveling to this side of the country or this side of the world to take part in their pre-season. But again, you can't underestimate any teams that you're coming up against. You have to give teams the respect, and I think over the years, USL Championship has continued to prove that they can compete with some of the bigger teams. I think we've already seen the FIFA World Club Cup Championship, and we saw some of the MLS teams compete with the best teams in the world also. So I think it's an indicator that slowly but surely the gap is closing in terms of talent and teams. Maybe not in terms of finances as yet, but in terms of raw talent, I think you see the gap closing. Intelligence, it's getting a little bit closer year after year.
A foul whistled here. Slows play for the moment. One of the things that Danny Cruz talked about, he said that in the end, this opportunity is beneficial to see who steps up in these moments, in these players, and using this starting lineup tonight as you see the collision there between Miguel and Lopez. And after the fact, Serrano getting stepped on.
And of course, this is a real treat for the fans here in Louisville. You heard some of the reporters asking questions. What would it mean to you to beat a team that beat Barcelona this year? And of course, it's probably a little unfair question to ask, a little bit unrealistic. But now you're seeing yourselves 1-0 ahead. You're really starting to think in your head, wow, we could beat a team that beat Barcelona this year. Probably adds a little bit of motivation and energy into this Louisville City team, and probably allows the fans to dream a little bit more than they did before the game, knowing that their team right now are probably the more aggressive of the two.
Stats bear that out. 7 shots to 2 so far for Louisville City, and a 5th-3rd free kick coming up now for the home side in this friendly. Strong performance to begin this one for Louisville City. They have the goal thanks to Jansen Wilson off of a corner kick. He struck one from about 20 yards away and left Juan Soriano stunned.
And of course, although it is a friendly game, you are still representing your league and your country when you're a Spanish team playing Liga 2 or relegated from La Liga. You are still representing the country in the league when you come across to play in the US. So
Serrano throws this in. Jones makes the late run. Soriano fends it off.
I'm almost lost for breath here because it could very comfortably be 3-0 to Louisville City in this opening 20 minutes. That another fantastic chance that probably should be in the back of the net. Not sure how Soriano keeps this out of the back of the net from Jones. It's a great delivery, a great connection on the ball from Jones. Soriano was just well positioned to push it away, but it's a chance that should have ended in a goal.
This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Pressure, Serrano takes it away, but cannot hold on to it. Leganés looking to wake up here. And it's a very good run from Pena. Angled back. Diego Garcia unable to beat Jansen Wilson to it. Davila rolls it back. Jones and Adams unable to cycle that ball away. And then Pena hits the deck. Loss clears under the anxiety of the pressure of the front line.
I think both teams guilty of not playing good clearances from defense. We saw Leganés make a similar mistake just now, trying to overplay at the back, turn over position, and Louisville almost creating a goal-scoring chance of it. And now we're seeing the reverse at this side of the field. Louisville maybe overplaying at the back a little bit and allowing Leganés to win back possession of the ball.
Ball chipped forward. Lopez spins it across. Now this long distance chance equalizes. Miguel de la Fuente fires one home, and we're level at 1.
And if you rewind to where this chance really comes from, it just comes from not clearing the danger initially from the first tack, maybe less than 60 seconds ago. But for both teams, we've seen time and space on the edge of the box, and you're going to get punished. Similar to Wilson's finish, first touch, just whips it. Lass just watches it going to the side net. Similar to Soriano earlier, he's not getting anywhere close to that. Fantastic finishing. Both teams giving us an exhibition of outside the box finishing so far in the first 25 minutes.
No question, a good sign if you're a Leganés fan. Miguel de la Fuente last year finished with just 1 goal for the entire season in 34 appearances, after he scored 13 times in 35 appearances during the year in which they were promoted. A foul is whistled here. De la Fuente in his 4th season with Leganés ties up the score in this one. And now Louisville City back on the front foot, looking to regain the advantage.
De la Fuente looks at Wilson and says, anything you can do, I can do better. 2 of them having a shoot-off so far in this game. 2 great finishes, outstanding.
Andres Campos hasn't hit his paw, so it's a 5th-3rd free kick coming here for Louisville City.
Do sense a little bit of a response from Leganés after that ball went in. They were kind of waking each other up, setting expectations a little bit higher than what how they've started these opening 25 minutes. Expect the game to maybe get a little bit feisty as they realise they're probably in for more of a contest than they envision.
Davila curls. First ball headed away, second ball laced off of a body and out, and Louisville City get a corner out of this.
Set pieces look like a consistent threat for Louisville so far in this game. Even with this delivery, there's maybe 3 players towards the back post that are completely unmarked. We saw Jones had a chance earlier in this game, good defensive header, but the marking from wide deliveries or from central deliveries from set pieces has been a question mark so far for Leganés in this game so far.
Louisville City line up a Wi-Fi corner here, looking to respond to the De La Fuente goal. Davila rolls. Serrano right back. Davila cuts it back. Now slingshots it with a right foot. First header hops over the top, and Days cannot rescue.
It's another great delivery into the box here. Another great chance for Louisville to get themselves on the score sheet for a 2nd time tonight. And it's with Davila, and the problem marking Davila is you never know what foot he's going to use. He's naturally left-footed. Here he cuts back onto his right. It's Adams that heads this up and over. But Davila is so comfortable to play with both feet.
Looking at the history of Leganés, they were started in 1928. They began in the 6th division and spent the majority of the time through their first half century at the lower levels before finally being promoted in 1987 to the 3rd division. They would get their first chance at La Liga in the 2010s.
Morris cruising past Pena on this left-hand side of the field.
Miguel flops. It's a good night to bring out the youngsters here. Perhaps some future Louisville City players there, maybe the academy first and foremost. Jones chases and does win the race there. Ball punched away. Lancaster darts and draws the foul. Danny Cruz said that he had the lineup set up and he's getting ready for his first round of changes in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, I think some players obviously they've already decided how many minutes they're going to play, and irrespective of how the game is going, it seems he's going to stick to that, which may or may not be frustrating once you're 1-0 in the league against Leganés and you realise, hey, this is a good opportunity to really walk away with the win tonight against a top team. Maybe you start to deviate a little bit and you want to leave your stronger roster out there a little bit, but it seems he's staying content to the minutes that they pre-planned for each player, irrespective of how the game is going.
rain in the area before the match. Humid night here in Louisville. And look at this. Starting to feel more comfortable. Just as I say that, they get the ball pilfered. As it Cano knocked that ball away. Davila recycles. Now Adams. Miguel. Davila.
Good play from Louisville City here, just enjoying an extended spell of possession of the ball.
Wilson, the goal scorer in this one for Lou City. Lays it back. Serrano now curls it around. Morris makes the run. And just in front of him was Ruben Pena, and Morris just turns his head at the last second and nods it wide.
Leganés have not done a great job with defending crosses. They haven't stopped the crosses coming in, and they've not been great at defending those aerial balls when they've been delivered into the box either. It's definitely been an Achilles heel for them, and specifically I'd say balls coming in from the right-hand side have been a consistent threat for Louisville City so far in this game.
Well, a couple changes coming here for Lou City. It's going to be Sean Tosh, Ryan Troutman, and Niall McCabe all coming in. Damian Loss is done, Davila is done, and Adams all finish their shifts. Substitutions brought to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. That's the Kentucky Lottery.
Of course, substitutions, all these substitutions that may happen through the course of the game is going to make things a little bit more challenging from a tactical and cohesive standpoint. But of course, as we spoke about, each team has a different objective in this game. For Leganés, building their fitness as they build towards the start of the season. For Danny Cruz, it's getting players match minutes, getting some more players coming back from injuries match minutes, and giving some exposure to some of the youngsters that are going to be the future of the club.
Well, hydration break gives us a chance to see how we got to this stage. Lou City have had a great deal of chances, but so far, two midfielders have put on a show with great shots from outside of the 18. This coming in the 17th minute. Jansen Wilson, all the time in the world to pick a spot.
Just give him credit for the first touch, and look how quick he adjusts his feet. Get off a perfect dipping strike there. Soriano has no chance on this one. Beautiful.
That made it 1-0 in favor of Louisville City. You take a look, that's your best angle to really showcase what he produced. And Leganés haven't had a ton of shots in this game, but they were able to get one here off of a throw-in, and it's an excellent goal from Miguel de la Fuente.
Yeah, it just came from a moment when Louisville City didn't do a good job of defending and clearing the danger, and they're punished because of it. Look at that. Beautiful finish. They weren't much in terms of possession or dominating the game, but one chance, finish. Absolutely great strike. Gives Lax no chance.
And that's how the score was tied 7 minutes after Wilson put up the opener in this game. And now going to the bench with Tosh, McCabe, and Troutman here for the final 60 minutes or so. And we did expect this to happen. There's a good chunk of academy players available tonight as well, outside of the two young men that started tonight in Cano and Days, that we expect to see in the final 15 to 20 minutes of tonight's match. But these are friendlies where you get opportunities to really shuffle around your goalkeeper, and that's why Ryan Troutman, the Louisville native, will get called into action in this matchup. And with about 15 minutes to go before halftime, will either side be able to take the advantage in this contest before the break? And has been an entertaining back and forth affair. Leganés played in La Liga last year, and we talked about it. They beat Barcelona back in December of last season, 1-0, and Atletico Madrid a month later. They would fall in the Copa del Rey quarterfinals, 3-2 to Real Madrid, their second best finish in the Copa del Rey in club history. So despite being relegated in La Liga, they had a really good showing in Copa del Rey and nearly took out Real Madrid, if not for Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham. Tosh tosses this in, skips out to the middle of the park. Cisse is fouled.
Not sure there was much in that there. Leganés have struggled to build out from the back against Louisville, whether it's playing short passes or playing direct. They've often turned over the ball anytime they tried to play out from the back to Louisville City within 2 or 3 passes. So the press, the aggressive press from Louisville City has been very successful when trying to win the ball high, but even when Leganés have tried to bypass and play more direct, they haven't done a good job of finding number 9 and keeping possession of the ball.
Yeah. Gives us a chance to remind you that Leganés have not played a match since May. That was the end of the La Liga season, and they won't start their La Liga 2 year until mid-August. They're going through these friendlies and exhibitions over the next few weeks. Louisville City, meanwhile, at the heart of their season.
It'll be interesting because as a player, you want to come in and hit pre-season. You want to hit the ground running. You don't want to be one of the players who comes in and it's taking you 2 or 3 weeks.
That's a giveaway, and it's space here for Diego Garcia. Garcia winds up and hooks it wide left.
Again, Leganés showing how dangerous they can be when you make mistakes around the back. Just overplaying here, gets caught in possession in the middle of the park, and they break at speed. Just expected a little bit more quality and composure here in the finish. Completely drags it wide, doesn't really test Lass in that situation, Garcia, and it's probably a bad shot at the end of a good counter-attack.
Ten minutes before halftime. Another part, going back to what we just saw, Louisville City making a lot of changes in their lineup. They're also playing the 2 academy players, so you have a lot of different players that might not have played at all with each other this season playing here tonight.
Yeah, and I think for Leganés obviously being the more established of the 2 teams, if you're playing against a disjointed Louisville City side that's playing academy players, playing some players who are recovering from fitness, making substitutes after 30 minutes, then you're probably expected to dominate the game a little bit more, irrespective of where you are in your periodization or your preseason. Because this is not the Louisville City that's played probably 30 games continuously so far in the USL Championship. As we mentioned, it's a little bit mix and match. So the onus is on Leganés to be the ones to put the ball down and play, control the tempo of the game, have rhythm, create goal-scoring opportunities. As I was mentioning, at a professional level, you're expected to come in and hit the ground running. You don't want to be waiting 2 or 3 weeks and somebody else takes your spot, starts off the season a little bit better than you. So the expectations of the individuals is a little bit more than what's maybe on display today.
There has been an uptick in intensity here for Leganés. Rolled out wide by Hernandez. A dodging and darting run, touch through the middle. Dummied along, Lopez was the target, it rolls back out. Cisse's shot bounces off a Louisville City defender and out for a corner.
Everybody approaches preseason a little bit different, but if you're in a competitive environment, you know that if you have a slow preseason, somebody else is going to get that starting position. Some people always say the objective preseason is not to get injured. I think the objective preseason is normally to identify yourself as one of the starting 11 players for that manager, because the competition for places poor 3 weeks, somebody else can easily jump in and become the #1 starter. So you always spend some time before coming into preseason making sure that when you get there, you're hitting the ground running and you're ready to stand out.
Here comes this corner kick in. It redirects off of the first man. McCabe knocks it away for a second corner.
Players who generally have a poor preseason, albeit through injury or just lack of preparation, generally have a very slow start to the season, and sometimes it can be really hard to pick yourself up in the season when you've had a slow or a weak pre-season. So it's really an important time of the year for players to kind of set the tone for what's to come.
Lopez sends it in. First ball deflected. Second ball finds the net. Leganés have scored 2 unanswered and lead. The 20-year-old defender, Said Imagane, has put Leganés out in front 2-1.
You could maybe argue it's a little bit unfair reflection. The scoreline is a little bit of an unfair reflection of what's really transpired in these opening 35 minutes. But set pieces can become so deadly, and obviously with the changes being made, you lose your structure, you lose some of your better header of the balls or defenders in those situations, and a little ricochet and rebound, and you get punished off the back of it, and you find yourself 2-1 down in a game where you've been probably the better of the 2 sides, unfortunately.
Played for the B side last year. And now, with the first team this season, produces a goal, and for the first time in this 3-match North American tour, Leganés leads 2-1.
If you look at the disparity in shots taken, Leganés have had a lot less chances, definitely a lot less shots on goal, but they've been more clinical in the shots that they've had. Louisville City had a lot better chances on goal, if you ask me, and a lot more quantity of chances, but they've not been as clinical in the chances that they've had. And I think, as we spoke about, that's the difference in the final result, is the quality in between two 18-yard boxes. Some fantastic opportunities for Louisville City, but they didn't take them. And Leganés, with the 2 one-chance, half chances they have, find themselves 2-1 ahead, irrespective of, I would say, not performing as the better side right now.
Let's see if Lou City can change that in the final 5 minutes of the first half. 40th minute of play. Leganés leads 2-1. Goals from De La Fuente and Imagane have Leganés out in front after Wilson scored the opener in the 17th minute. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our team with you here tonight for this friendly.
What I really like is that Louisville City are showing they're not afraid to play. Sometimes a David versus Goliath game, or maybe you're playing against a bigger opponent, you're more kicking the ball or lumping it or just rationally trying to clear the danger and panicking. They've been very comfortable in possession of the ball. They've been moving it. They've been taking players on. They've been playing 1-2s, combining play, being patient when it's on to be patient. It's been a really mature and a professional performance from Louisville City so far in this opening 40 minutes, and a fantastic representation of the USL Championship so far.
Looks like Niall McCabe is going to pick up a yellow card as well. Brought to you by Bone Dry Roofing. A senior statesman for Lou City, who's been with the club every year of its existence, is in the books in a friendly.
Yeah, I think you have to know your players. For players like McCabe, defensive midfielders who are ball-winning mindset, there's no such thing as a friendly. I imagine he tackles the same way in training every day against his teammates, that he wants to be healthy at the weekend and compete. Some players, it's just a mindset and mentality, and you can't take it out of him, and you don't want to take it out of him either. If he stops doing that, then he's not the player that you sign. He's not the player in the middle of the park that has an impact on the game. You really need him to stay in that mindset, in that zone, winning tackles, putting his body on the line, being intense, aggressive, intimidating. They're all the aspects of why he is and why he's had the number of games he's had in the USL Championship so far.
Restarts have been critical to this one. It was a corner kick that set up Wilson, a throw-in that set up De La Fuente, and another corner set up Imagane just a few minutes ago. So all of our goals have come off of these restarts. And Roberto Lopez lines up another. 36 career goals in his pro career. Plays this short, receives the second ball, smacks it in. And Lou City sling it all the way back down the park. Soriano slices this ball back up the field. Good first touch by Morris. He gets tugged to the surface by one of the 2 goal scorers today, Miguel. And he will not be picking up a card.
He should be picking up a card. It's a really frustrating foul. It's a tactical foul. He's smart. He knows he's getting away from him. Wants to kill the momentum and kill the play. It should go into the book, irrespective, friendly or no friendly. For me, they're some of the match-winning fouls, but they can be really frustrating if you're the player that was on the attack.
Morris can't bring that one down. Flag up for offside that time around. Lou City have been nearly impenetrable at home. Played 11 times on this field in all competitions, 9 wins, a loss, and a draw. Outscored teams by 14 goals on this pitch during the year. The only team that had scored multiple times against Lou City this year on this field was Birmingham on June 14th, but Lou City would go on to win that match 4-2. There would be a similar electric goal-scoring outburst in this one, or will Leganés settle into this match and continue its advantage?
I think every team right now is probably so they're in a scary place, Louisville City, where they are right now and where they'll continue to strengthen as the season goes on. And it's really a shame that the first place team isn't rewarded more, because I don't see anybody beating them to first place in USL Championship this season. I think they're going to finish #1. And then you go into the playoffs where a team can have a good run or something maybe doesn't go your way one week, and then all suddenly you're knocked off from winning that trophy that everybody covets the most. But I think when you're looking at consistency and you're looking at week after week, month after month, despite challenges of injuries and everything else, I think this Louisville City team is really something spectacular over the duration of the season.
Yeah, if you look at the table right now, it's Lou City on top of the East, but Charleston not far behind, just a couple points behind. And then there's everybody else. The next closest team behind Charleston is 9 points off the pace in both the East and the West. So really a two-team race for the Shield in the USL Championship, and those two teams will play in a couple weeks. We'll have the full upcoming schedule for the boys in purple coming up at halftime. In the meantime, final minute of this first half, and a chance for Louisville City to equalize. Good ball in. This ball redirected. In the end, just wide right. Lancaster again, the forefront of the attack. He's had so many opportunities and hasn't quite hit the target yet.
Yeah, I think Lancaster needs to go across the goalkeeper with this one. He doesn't hit the target. You can see what he's trying to do, trying to catch the goalkeeper off guard. But I think he's just got to try and wrap his hips around it a little bit more and go for the opposite side. At least force the keeper to make a save. Similar to what Wilson did a couple of weeks ago, buried it into the side netting. Again, another good opportunity there for Louisville City.
2-1 the score. And we're hearing no stoppage time despite the hydration break and substitutions in this first half.
There's been no lack of chances created for Louisville City, but it's been the conversion of those chances that's really been the issue. They've had 11 shots in this opening half in comparison to Leganés' 7. Leganés obviously converted 2 of those chances. Louisville just converting 1.
So that does bring us to the halftime whistle here. And with Louisville City trailing it 2-1, it's halftime here in Kentucky for this matchup. Leganés leads 2-1 in this friendly. Step out for a break. We have plenty more to come, including we'll hear the favorite culinary treats from Arturo Ordonez when we return.
Heating up with beach vacations, road trips, backyard barbecues, and fireworks. So fuel your summer with My Card, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. My Card gives you 3 points for every dollar you spend on transportation and travel, and 1.5 points for everything else, all with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. Don't have My Card? Don't flip out. Flip the balance with a balance transfer and fuel your summer with My Card, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Thousands of children turn to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for life-saving cancer treatment. Join WDRB in the fight by entering the St. Jude Dream Home Giveaway. A $100 ticket gives you the chance to win a new home in Mount Washington and helps make sure families never receive a bill. Go to WDRB.com and click on the St. Jude Dream Home tab to enter.
We have some viewer hot takes on their morning routine.
The first thing I do in the morning is check my phone.
I have to check the phone just to make sure that I hit the snooze button.
I was gonna say, a couple times, right?
You get bang, 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 yeah.
Who are those people that get up on the first alarm?
No, they're crazy people.
I don't understand that.
They're lunatics.
Staying on top of the big stories is a really important part of my job, and the WDRB News app makes that really easy to do no matter where I am. I can be at the grocery store, the doctor's office, or anywhere out and about. I can watch live and stay on top of the day's news. It's like taking WDRB with me everywhere I go.
Power up your summer fun with the power of choice. Toyota's lineup offers the most electrified hybrid and all-wheel drive choices out there, like the best-selling RAV4 and the super fuel-efficient RAV4 Hybrid. Now get 4.99 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.99 on RAV4 Hybrid. Or lease this gas-powered RAV4 for $309 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. That's the power of choice. Toyota, let's go places.
On a beautiful night in Louisville, we're at halftime between Louisville City and Leganés. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse back with you. And as we look at this matchup with some international flair, Arturo Ordonez dives into some of his favorite Spanish dishes.
Hola, soy Arturo Ordóñez, defensa para Louisville City, y vamos a hacer una competición en la que voy a elegir la
After a slow start to the season for Philip Goodrum, where he didn't score in any of his first 6, he's red hot. 8 goals since May 1st, and he was the USL Championships Player of the Month in June.
Didn't even look up to the box. This one's layered forward for Goodrum, and Goodrum takes the lead. Davila delivers. Point blank, it's knocked home. It's a hat trick. Goodrum knocks home another.
Summer is heating up with beach vacations, road trips, backyard barbecues, and fireworks. So fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. MyCard gives you 3 points for every dollar you spend on transportation and travel, and 1.5 points for everything else, all with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. Don't have MyCard? Don't flip out. Flip the balance with a balance transfer and fuel your summer with MyCard, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
What makes the Ohio Valley unique is it has the ability to produce all modes of weather, but in a crippling and severe way.
You couldn't really tell a distinct tornado. It just looked like heavy rain until the debris started flying. And
that's basically what the Ohio Valley brings. Everything.
And we are going to see more severe weather in the Ohio Valley.
We all have ties to Kentuckiana. We know what happens around here. That's where you're going to get the most accurate information to help you plan what's going on in your...
Fresh for everyone.
With Toyota's Power of Choice.
Toyota's lineup offers the most electrified hybrid and all-wheel drive choices out there, like the family favorite Toyota Highlander or the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Both are built right here in the USA. And now you can get a new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander with 4.99 APR financing and get 2 years no-cost maintenance. That's the power of choice. Toyota, let's go places.
After Louisville City scored the opening goal on Jansen Wilson's strike in the 17th minute, Leganés scores twice in the final 20 minutes of the first half to lead 2-1 in this international friendly. Michael and Chris back with you as we preview the upcoming stretch for Lou City, and it all starts with a home match against FC Tulsa a week from tonight. FC Tulsa unbeaten in its last 4. They're 4th in the Western Conference. That'll be a good test to start off this next stretch.
Yeah, coming back off a little bit of a break. Louisville City had just two USL Championship games, I think, over the past month. They'll be ready to hit the ground running again, start to build that momentum and confidence to get some consistency in their weekly routine. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pick back up once they start to get that routine again.
So first of 3 straight at home, and then after that, it's North Carolina, the only team that has beaten Lou City in the regular season this year. They played twice in a 9-day stretch at the end of June, and they'll try to avenge their lone loss in league play.
Yeah, North Carolina quietly doing very well this season, just in and around the mid-table, and pulled up a big result last night, I believe.
Indeed. Good performance by North Carolina FC, and they are in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference. And then it all wraps up with Charleston Battery, and what a matchup that will be on August 9th. They're the only 2 teams in the league with 30 or more points this year in the USL Championship. They're both 9 better than anybody else in the league.
Yeah, as we spoke about, these are the 2 teams that are going to be competing for the regular season championship, and rightly so. They've been consistent, they have quality, they have class, they don't give up much goals in defense. I think this is if there was a game that you were preempting as the final, this might be the one you want to see, but we'll see it shortly in the league.
It'll be a fun matchup there as you take a look at the upcoming schedule in total. You have at Lexington at the end of the month, and that Kentucky Derby that will decide the USL Jägermeister Cup positioning. And then another friendly in 17 days from now. It'll be against the Bundesliga's Frankfurt after Frankfurt plays Aston Villa on this pitch on July 26th. So that's how things look for Lou City in their next 5. A couple out of the USL Championship and 3 in league action. We're at halftime here in Kentucky. It's 2-1 in favor of the Spanish side. First half highlights. Second half kick is next.
Fresh for everyone.
Power up your summer fun with the power of choice. Toyota's lineup offers the most electrified hybrid and all-wheel drive choices out there. Like the best-selling Tacoma with up to 326 horsepower. Now you can get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 Tacoma. Or lease this new 25 Tacoma SR5 for just $289 a month. With 2 years no-cost maintenance. That's the power of choice. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is my grandpa's belt. He wore this thing for 30 years.
That's a great belt.
This is my grandpa.
Huh.
You can't buy a belt like this in the big box store because most belts suck. They peel, they tear, they break. I wanted a belt like this one, so I made one. With full grain leather, solid brass hardware, and robust stitching. I can have a belt just like my grandfather's. The Handcrafted Belt by Clayton Crew.
We welcome you back here to Louisville, Kentucky. We're at halftime. It is a 2-1 Leganés lead against Louisville City. It's a fun night. It's been an up and back matchup between these two groups. Let's have a look at the highlights from this game. And there are some good chances early for Lou City in this contest. This is the 13th minute. It looked like Cameron Lancaster was going to start the scoring on this acrobatic effort on a nice pass from Serrano.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Louisville City were the most aggressive team in the first half. Lancaster himself had 4 of the 11 shots that Louisville City had. Being one of the good chances he had. Great ball here from Serrano. Acrobatics just doesn't quite guide it on frame, but great opportunity for Louisville City.
But they would finally break through about 4 minutes later. Brandon Day started this by getting a steal in the midfield, winning a corner, and then Jansen Wilson did the rest.
Great, fantastic first touch. I mean, just look how quickly he adjusts his feet to get the strike. Give Soriano in goal no chance. Absolutely fantastic finish. Give Louisville City the 1-0 lead.
It was 1-0 at that point. Wilson scoring in an international friendly for a second consecutive year. And in the 24th minute, it would come off of a throw. Miguel de la Fuente would showcase his long-distance shooting ability.
Yeah, didn't want to be upstate by Wilson. Repeats it out his feet, whips it past the goalkeeper. Gives Las no opportunity to make a save on this occasion. Absolute touch finish.
Excellent strike there to tie the score at a goal apiece in the 24th minute. And Leganés really used that to catapult themselves off of this corner kick. Ima Gane was able to find the net, punching this ball hole.
Yeah, and as expected, you lose some of that structure, you lose some of that cohesiveness when you make 3 substitutions at the 30th minute. And this is where they paid for it. A game that Louisville City were probably more dominant, end up going at halftime, finding 2-1 down, conceding from a set piece in the closing moments of the first half after a number of personal changes.
So that's how we sit at halftime, with Leganés out in front by a 2-1 margin at the break. And here is the Eastern Conference table. And you see how things sort out. You have Lou City, Charleston right there on top. It's jam-packed everywhere else as you go through the rest of the table. But Louisville City have separated themselves with Charleston atop the table.
Yeah, and even if you look at, you can look at the points, you look at the standings, but look at the goal differential. Both these teams plus 17, plus 18, and then you look at everybody else in comparison. They're head and shoulders above everybody right now in terms of consistency and how they're performing so far this season.
So that's where we sit here at halftime and through 45 minutes of play. We'll see how Lou City is able to respond in half number 2. And it looks like they're going to make several changes in this second half as well. See Sam Gleedle out there. Kevin Lambert is on the field. Our Arturo Ordonez is out there as well, and looks like Brian Ownby is going to come into the match as well. And it's been a long time since we've seen Brian Ownby out on the field. He has not played in a very long time for this Lou City group. And Lou City are going to give him some minutes to try to get him back on track and get him out there. One of the most dynamic players that this league has seen. Ownby has not played in a regular season match since 2023.
And you have to be, if you're Leganés and you see Louisville City making so many changes, you have to be questioning. You know you're going to put your strongest 11 out against us as a team that's played in La Liga. You're going to use this game as like a refresher for your team. You'd have to take a little bit of offense to that if I'm playing for Leganés, and you'd want the scoreline to reflect that. But for Louisville City, spot on to them, using the game to their advantage, or for their objectives of what they need to do for the remainder of the season. For Leganés, it's on them to take the onus, to take responsibility, to take it maybe a little bit personal and dictate the game. But let's see if they have that amongst them. Right now, irrespective of who's been on or off the field for Louisville City, it's been a fantastic showcase of the talent in this team, but also the talent that the USL Championship holistically is showcasing right now.
So, all changes tonight brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. That is the Kentucky Lottery. So Gleadle, Lambert, Ordonez, and Ownby are in. So the men that came out, Josh Jones, Jansen Wilson, Niall McCabe gets about 15 minutes of play before he comes out, and Ray Serrano also done. So, as we expected,
we're at 7 changes right now for Louisville City.
That's what we expected. Danny Cruz had things lined up and set up for this group to make those changes as the night would go on.
For Leganés, things look completely contrast. They are still with the same starting 11 that started the game, so no changes for Leganés right now, while Louisville City are 7 deep in changes.
Here in the second half of play, Lou City bring in some of those reinforcements, some fresh legs, and some of their senior statesmen as well. And this portion of tonight's match presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. One thing that we haven't talked about, Chris, is the dynamic of Pro Rel. And when you look at a team like Leganés, when you're playing in La Liga, the resources that you have, the teams that you're playing against is completely different than when you're in La Liga 2. So you have a group on the field right now that, yes, there's some players that are holdovers or players that had been within this organization the last couple of years, but you also have to bring in an entirely new team for the most part, because some of those players that were on your group last year that might have been on loan go back to their respective sides, or they try to go back to La Liga and play with another team in La Liga rather than being in La Liga 2.
Yeah, I think that's the difference for both teams are kind of facing a similar challenge today, with so many young players also being on this Louisville City roster. It's maybe not a cemented roster or consistent roster, so it provides challenges for both teams that they have to figure out on the field. It's not like you could have scouted this team and see exactly how they play or what they're going to do with their habits, because it's kind of a makeshift or a rebuilding moment. And obviously Louisville are using the opportunity for something different with their roster. So the solutions to the problems teams are having, the players are having to figure out on the field rather than having a preempted plan.
Leganés made 7 changes as well at halftime. Ignacy Miquel, Lalo Aguilar, Naim Garcia, Alex Milan, Carlos Guirao, Lucas Macazaga, and a new goalkeeper as well is Javi Garrido. So 7 changes for Leganés at halftime. As you get in international friendlies, coaches trying to see who they have, trying to build up minutes, trying to be prepared for the years. This ball gets rolled into the 18-yard box, and Miguel has to just knock that ball just away from Ownby. Ownby knocks that off of one man, and now a chance for Louisville City to reset. Each team have made 7 changes now from their starting 11s.
It's hard to keep up.
This is like a baseball spring training game. For those familiar with Major League Baseball and all the changes that you get, sometimes you have players on the field that don't even have names on the back of their jersey. Flag up for offside. Last year in the friendly against Cancun, things got fascinating after changes had started to be made. Of the 6 goals scored in that game, 4 came in the final 20 minutes. So we have plenty of time for things to continue to change in this year's friendly. Louisville City starting their international draws back in 2023. Kaiserslautern came to town. They lost 2-1 in that match. Duke rolls that ball forward. Getting the angle here is Garcia. Touches it through, and it's a good block from Tosh after Roberto Lopez was salivating.
Good position in here from Tosh. Just anticipates the danger, and as he does so often for this Louisville defense, big block, sending this one out for a corner kick.
Lopez will line this ball up. Some of his best years at the beginning with Real Sociedad's B team when he began his career, now at age 25. Lines up this corner kick, slingshots it in. Gets off of a Louisville City body and out for another corner kick after right in the middle of the field. Lalo, the 23-year-old Spaniard, won the header. That Louisville City's next match is against Tulsa. Well, Tulsa is off and rolling. 30 minutes in against Las Vegas, 2-1 leaders. Serrato and Weber have both scored, and Johnny Rodriguez just pulled one back for the Lights. The match will happen on this field next week as Louisville City 11 wins through their first 16 league matches. Lambert commits the foul. Leganés have won 3 titles in their history, 80s, 90s, and 2020s. You see Lambert come in late.
Zaga there on the receiving end of the tackle from Lambert.
Nodded through. CD. Garcia. Garrido slows it down. Now under a great deal of pressure. Gives it away to Lambert. Lambert lines it up feeds Miguel. Miguel launches. Garrido dives, defended off. And then a foul is given.
Again, so many times we've seen overplaying at the back. Great pressure here for the goalkeeper. Ends up scuffing the shot. Lambert wins it back, lays it off, drives it out his feet here from distance. Mogul Jr. does fantastic to drag the save out the goalkeeper, but Louisville City had a great opportunity to get themselves back into this game here. 2-2 from a little bit of complacency at the back from Leganés. A little bit lax and too relaxed there, and Louisville City should have really put their ball into the back of the net and leveled things up.
Nevertheless, it's a free kick brought to you by Fifth Third for Lou City. No team in the USL Championship have scored more off of set pieces this year or in the last 2 years than Lou City. This ball hooked all the way over everybody and out.
Of course, conceding from set pieces has also been one of the areas that Danny Cruz has wanted to tighten up on. They conceded from a corner kick again today, and I think that's an area of concern that they've consistently, maybe it's consistently been their Achilles heel so far this season, is giving up goals from set pieces defending.
Cruz, a tip of the cap to James O'Connor, who does an excellent job networking to bring in opponents from all over the world for these friendlies. It's also a testament to the ownership for the facilities that Lou City have. They've been able to entice those groups to come here to Louisville, Kentucky for this one. Have won its last 3 matches. Entering the night, their only loss at home this year was in the U.S. Open Cup's 4th round against Minnesota United. Danny Cruz going according to the script with the players that he has on the bench. But now looking for somebody to finish a transaction. 12 shots in the match, but just the 1 goal so far, and Troutman resets play. Last touched by Makazaga. Post getting yanked and tugged and fouled. Lou City restarts fast. Lambert, the Jamaican.
Play becoming a little bit disjointed for both teams, and kind of expected given the number of changes in their game. It's not necessarily been the beautiful exhibition of tiki-taka soccer that we were maybe expecting, but I'm sure both teams are currently meeting their predetermined objectives so far for this fixture.
Duke chases after it. Unable to hold on to it, and now Miguel twirls around. He was in a position that some of his teammates will be in tonight a couple of years ago as an academy start. Growing up in this system and has grown up in front of the team's eyes. And there's hope that that will continue to happen for the rest of this Lou City Academy that continues to grow each and every single year. Lidl has it. Touches it forward. It's Ownby. Ownby. Lambert. Ownby gets it back. Ownby pushes it around on the redirect. It's Lancaster unable to put it on frame. Those two so many times have connected for goals in their careers. and nearly had another here.
And again, the chemistry is there. The lay off the ball from Ownby here. Again, Lancaster just got to guide this across the goalkeeper. You can see his momentum's already coming this direction. So if he guides it towards the far corner, there's no way he's getting to it. For some reason, he chooses to go to the outside of his foot, to the near post, misses the target. It's another great opportunity for Lancaster. It's maybe his 6th opportunity today.
Uncharacteristic of the 32-year-old from London.
Number 10, Brian Ownby. Entering the match, number 27, Evan Davila.
Evan Davila is going to replace Brian Ownby.
Entering the match, number 13,
Amadou D is also going to come in. Lancaster is done, and Philip Goodrum's coming in. And Danny Fondes is going to replace Ryan Troutman.
Entering the match, number 12, Daniel Fondes. That substitution brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery.
So Tosh, Lancaster, Troutman, and Ownby all done. Good 15-minute stretch there for Ownby, though. Three different goalkeepers in this match for Louisville City. And once again, a reminder, substitutions brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. That's the Kentucky Lottery. Well, you bring in Goodrum, and if there is a stretch of time where Louisville City can flip the script on goal scoring, that can happen right now. Goodrum has scored 8 times in his last 10 matches. And leads the league with 8, or leads the team rather, with 8 goals for the year.
As Louisville takes on Lexington for the first time. Then next Saturday, Louisville City returns home to host FC Tulsa.
There is Goodrum, the June Player of the Month in the USL Championship. And he gets the job done on both sides of the ball. Legs up here, though, for offside. Well, the first half was free-flowing, entertaining. Second half has been anything but.
Yeah, I think the stop-start, the changes just kind of killed any momentum or flow to the game for both teams. And now it's probably more just a fitness exercise, more than anything else, I imagine, for the players on the field. Hopefully the things will settle down for the remaining 30 minutes, and we'll see both teams try to break each other down again. But as you mentioned, the number of changes kind of just takes away any flow or momentum in the game.
Less than a half hour to play. It is 2-1 Leganés from Spain. Played in La Liga last year. Jensen Wilson started the scoring in the 17th minute. De La Fuente and Imagane both scored in the final 20 minutes to change the score and make it 2-1. Couple changes for Leganés. It's going to be Alvaro Gomez coming in along with Gift Siame. Siame, 18-year-old from Zambia, coming in. Cisse and Naim Garcia are coming out. Substitutions brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. That's the Kentucky Lottery. Louisville ticket packages for the 2025 season are now live. Join the boys in purple all year long with season tickets starting at just $15 per game. Visit LouisCity.com to learn more. Ordonez slows this ball down, spins it around, and here's Amadou Dia. And there's a foul. And a free kick coming after Goodrum gets taken out. Quickly restarted, floated across. Nobody in that neck of the woods.
Sure, there's some academy players itching to get themselves, or more academy players itching to get themselves onto the field in this game. 8 Louisville City academy players on the roster available to participate in tonight's match, and given the flow of things, I anticipate we're going to see more of those step onto the field in the remaining 25 minutes, and what a fantastic opportunity for these players to get on there and get first team experience.
Against a highly quality Spanish side that have the advantage with 25 minutes to play.
Yeah, I think outside of the scoreline, I'm not sure, outside the scoreline and fitness, I'm not sure there's too many positives that Leganés will take away from this game. They've not necessarily played fantastically well in their offense and defensively, and also in terms of how they possess the ball. Of course, they've got themselves on the score sheet twice so far in this game, but I don't think it's an overall performance that they're going to go away too content about. And that may just be a byproduct of where they are at this stage of the season. But as I said, the first game to the last game, you always have a sense of pride, whether it's pre-season or it's not pre-season. And this has been a very closely contested game, given the number of changes and the different personnel that Louisville City have used tonight. So, and everything, irrespective of how the scoreline finishes up, it's a win for the USL Championship when they talk about competing against top leagues from across the globe.
Big twirl here. Duke falls down twice, doesn't get the benefit of a whistle, and then we do get a shove, and it will be a foul. And Giroux will make sure that the official hears about it. And he's also going to go in the books. The 22-year-old who joined Leganés at age 13 is the first man in the books tonight for Leganés.
And that makes a little bit of sense. A player who's been at the club since they were 13 years old probably feels a sense of pride when they put in that jersey and representing a team playing in the USL Championship in the US. He probably feels like he needs to play the game with more pride, that his club should play the game with more pride, and they should be dominating more than they are. You've probably seen some of that frustration that's going on in his mind now creeping into his performance on the field.
Bone dry roofing, yellow card for Giroux. And now one more change for Lou City. Jake Morris coming out, and the 16-year-old Hayden Stamps coming in. Louisville native. Has appeared once already this season. Figured that he would come in sooner rather than later. And then there are the rest of the reinforcements awaiting to hear their name called for the first time in their careers. Goodrum shoved to the ground. He comes back. Thought he got it cleanly. Instead, it's a foul. And things starting to get a little bit more aggressive here in the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're seeing players start to compete a little bit more. Goodrum feels like he gets fouled, and he does exactly what all good players should. You get fouled, you get up, you take responsibility in your hands, and you go and try to win the ball back, and he goes back and competes. And I think he actually does well here. He wins the ball back, and play should have continued. They should have been allowed to continue their attack. I think that's probably one of the aspects that's been missing so far in the game, is just that continued tenacity where you're actually in a competitive battle and you're competing, you're fighting to win. It's kind of been a little bit like to you, to me, and a little bit, yes, it's been played in the spirit of a friendly, but maybe now as we start to get towards the closing phases, teams go for it a little bit more.
Denny Cruz has always talked about with Louisville City that they're going out to win every single game. There is no other option when they go on the field. It doesn't matter if it's a friendly, if it's a cup game of any kind. It doesn't matter who's on the field. They have high standards, and that was the thing that he wanted to see here tonight from the young players that come out, is to show themselves well and to play their brand of football.
Yeah, and I think it's also the characteristics of players like Goodrum. Whether it's a friendly or not, he's not going to let somebody make a challenge against him and him not get up and try to respond or to win the ball back for his team. That's just who he is, irrespective of the occasion or the game or the situation. That's how he's always going to react in those moments, and why he's so important as a striker who defends from the front is because he has that mentality and that approach.
Goodrum is not the kind of player that can turn off the competitive nature quickly. It is always on for him. Well, after we saw nearly 20 shots in the first half, just a few here in the second half combined. Over the top this ball goes as it bounces to the surface. Milan loses it. Dia shields and now takes it to the corner and ships it forward. Across the field. Leganés. Threading the needle here. It's well taken. Then played back. Siamak. Duke. Tries to continue on his run. It's taken away. Lambert nudges it off of the first man, and then it rolls back where Fondes just clears it up to the middle of the field. Goodrum holds, but cannot hold off Miguel.
Louisville City doing a good job of getting a lot of numbers behind the ball, just unable to safely clear the ball up to Goodrum and allow him to hold it in possession and get teammates up to support. You almost feel like Leganés are maybe content for the result to stay as it is and kind of tick the minutes off the clock in the way they're approaching the game right now. Definitely not in a rush to pump the ball forward. But they are having a spell of moving the ball a little bit more around the back and keeping possession a little bit around the halfway line area.
Lopez hurls this into the 18th. The best of clearances. A lot of Louisville players in there to be able to get the ball away initially, and then a tug of the jersey and a foul whistle and a free kick for Louisville City. And Louisville is going to make a change. Grayson Travis, the 18-year-old that will play at Furman in the fall, is going to replace Brandon Days. So we see the first of the debuts tonight. Days, of course, played last year, the 16-year-old that's also a basketball star at Louisville St. Xavier High School, is replaced by Travis.
Days again getting himself much needed first team match minutes, picking up that experience to learn from his teammates around him, picking up experience of playing against top tier opponents at such a young age is obviously going to be invaluable as he continues to learn and grow over the season.
With soccer season firmly underway, SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of Louisville City. Get all your Louisville City tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. This Louisville City fan base not used to moments like these, with Louisville City being held in check here for the most part in this second half. After a sizzling first half with double-digit shots, they've been limited to just 2 shots here in the second half. Starting to see that quality that you come to expect from those Spanish groups. Leganés scored twice in a span of 14 minutes in the first half. After Jansen Wilson started the scoring, they led 2-1 at halftime, and that's where we sit right now as the Liga side looking to wrap things up in their second international friendly in this 3-legged journey in North America. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and the rest of our side with you, enjoying the finish line of this one. And can the boys in purple flip the script here in the final quarter hour plus?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those games that you look back on and you wonder what would have been had Louisville played this game with their strongest 11 for 70% of the game. I think you can maybe anticipate that they would have come away winners, maybe comfortable winners, had they continued to have their strongest roster out there for 70% of the game, and maybe use that as a benchmark or a sticker of the progress that leagues or the teams in the USL Championship have made over time generally. But we'll always have to ponder on what could have or would have been had that been the situation in this game tonight. But it was definitely a good display from Louisville City in those opening 35 minutes.
Goodrum nearly slithered in past the back line to get to that ball, but it is picked up there by Garrido. Fine defensive work. Ordonez gives it right back to where this whole situation started. Lambert plays all over the middle of the park. A stumble, and it is a foul.
Possession definitely leaning heavily towards Leganés now. 63% possession for Leganés in comparison, 37% for Louisville.
Fans, it's time to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Vision Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now on the Lou City app. Gleedle, too strong on that pass.
However, not much has changed in front of goal for either team. We finished the first half 11 shots for Louisville and 7 shots for Leganés. And in the second half, we're just 2 shots for Louisville and 1 shot for Leganés. So the game's definitely lost the action that we were seeing inside of the 18-yard box for both teams that we saw in the opening half.
David Hamasenya, who played for Zambia at the U20 Africa Cup of Nations in April and May this year, replaces Roberto Lopez with about 15 more minutes to go.
Number 96, Silas Dan. For number 70, Isaac Cano.
So Isaac Cano is going to come off as well.
Referees will signal the hydration break.
And Silas Dom is going to come in.
I'm not sure of all the substitutions if you need a hydration break. I feel like they just came on. Well, a number of them anyhow.
Dom is going to play at the University of Louisville. As he replaces Cano. A chance for these two sides to try to reset. And there you take a look at Silas Dom, 18 years of age, will be a Louisville Cardinal as he makes his first team debut. This is around the time that we thought that we might see this. An influx of the young players coming onto the field.
Dia, of course, is not one of those young bucks. He's a veteran or one of the most experienced players on this Louisville City roster. Having also spent some time in MLS, he'd be one of the players that the younger players look up to or looking to learn from in these situations.
Well, now can this young group for Lou City find an equalizer here down the stretch? Lambert, not just the MLS experience, but the international experience as well for Lambert with Jamaica's national team. Ordonez, 27-year-old, carries this ball forward. Evan Davila sprints, glides it out. It's Dom sending it across. One of the more decisive moments for Lou City in the last 20 minutes. But instead, it's a breakout here. Milan slams the brakes on, gives it away. Ball won cleanly. Lou City sprint. Goodrum playing off the shoulder and unable to get the feed. Gleedle.
Big touch there from Gleedle, gives the opportunity away. It was a good interception from Stamps.
Now it's Dia stepping up. Funnels this one along. Gleedle. His rope right back. Dia once more. Lines it up. Travis.
Some nice touches there from Travis. There's one thing that young players are always going to give you. They're fearless. They come with a lot of enthusiasm. Sometimes that naivety that they have can actually be a...
Lambert to the back post! And this ball blasted high from Gleedle.
Great delivery here from Lambert. Catches everybody sleeping, and Gleedle creeps in at the far post, and he should really do better with this opportunity. Whipped in behind the defense. Well-timed run. Just needs to get his head over the ball and the ball on frame, and that's into the back of the net, and equalizing goal for Louisville City, and probably a goal that they deserve.
This definitely be a night. If Lou City fall, will feel like they left a goal or two on the field tonight. So many chances in that first half. They had a 5-minute window where it felt like every 30 seconds they were putting a shot on target. How about this charge? It's a nice takeaway from Evan Davila, and then he draws the foul, and Louisville City is going to get a great chance here on a free kick.
I think there's a lot of, I think irrespective of what happens in these final 10 minutes, I think Louisville, the fans and the players and the organization generally leave the stadium tonight holding their own and feeling like they can compete against a team that beat Barcelona this season, is competing in La Liga too. Based upon what we've seen on the pitch at this phase of the season, we can take all the variables into consideration, but if we were just to look on this pitch from a level scale, you would say Louisville City did more than hold their own against Leganés tonight.
Fifth third free kick here. Miguel and Dia are the two that eye this opportunity. Javi Garrido sets up his wall. What does Miguel or Dia want to do here? Dia? No. Miguel mashes. And that ball ends up in the third row of the bleachers.
And I think the credit has to go far beyond just the first team, because you're looking at young academy players who are coming in and getting their feet wet and actually capable of holding their own against top European opponents. So I think they actually have to give credit to the work going on throughout the whole organization, that even the young players that have come in, it's not like they've been blown out of the water once the young players have come in. It's still been fairly consistent and stable in the performance. The changes, of course, led to difficulties in chemistry and fluidity for both teams. But there's no outline disparity here where you can calmly say one team was far superior than the other.
It's a foul and a card as well. And Grayson Travis is going to see his name in the book here.
The referee has showed up Bone Dry Roofing yellow.
Bone Dry Roofing sponsors our cards tonight. Set to line this ball up. Charges after it, launches. Fondes gets enough to funnel it away.
So now a great strike on goal from this free kick. But Fondes does ever so well to get his feet. Look how quick he adjusts his feet and gets across the line. Great save from Fondes. He would have seen it late given the positioning of the wall, but great footwork.
For the first time tonight, Roberto Lopez will not be the man with the corner kick. Instead, it'll be the 22-year-old Girau. Launching this ball across, headed back into a dangerous area. And Lou City fortunate that ball goes out. Nakazaga. It's the return feed. He was called into the Bolivian national team camp for World Cup qualifiers in June. And now Duke back onto it. Towards the corner flag. He carries it out of play for a throw, and now he makes an appeal, kicks that ball away. Dia takes a shove. Comes back. Dia takes over, unable to get it past. Now resetting the stage here is Gomez. A good slide tackle to get that ball away by Silas Dom.
Great tackle there on Fernandez. Youngster's not afraid to get stuck in whatsoever.
Cross comes in. Fernandez backpedals. It's headed right through the middle. A nudge over. Finally fired away. Flag up for offside. It looks like Louisville City is going to let some of these other youngsters get onto the field for the first time. Dominic Del Negro, Evan Woodward, Luke Peter, Aiden Garmastani, and Cohen Havel are all coming in. Ordonez, Serrano, or check that, Miguel Jr., Goodrum, Dia, and Gleedle all come out.
And while this might just seem like a short period of time on the field for these youngsters, you can't underestimate the impact we're going to have on them from a motivation standpoint, from an inspiration standpoint, from just feeling included and part of the organization, knowing that the first team coach is watching them. You know, these 5 minutes will be as important as a 90 minutes for a senior pro for these young players.
This is a good opportunity for these players in a competitive game like this against world-class talent to showcase what they're all about.
Great opportunity for a youngster to go out there and have everybody remember their name for the right reasons.
All the players that just came in are high schoolers in the area. Ball taken away as it's kept in play by Havel. 17-year-old plays at Reitz Memorial. And one thing that they will not lack is tempo and energy.
They'll have tempo and energy. They'll just have to be smart in possession of the ball. Of course, they're not going to win those physical battles, so it's important when they do win it that they have an idea, they know the next pass, they're able to play and find space quickly to avoid any kind of physical battles with Leganés right now.
Hits the deck, bobbles the route. And it is a foul against Garmastani. He's at Huntington High School, 16-year-old. Cruz said he wants to see a player that's passionate, willing to take advantage of the opportunity that they have, and ultimately wants to see players that embody what this club is all about, relentless with and without the ball.
With the youngsters coming in, you're seeing Lambert take on a more defensive responsibility, dropping a little bit deeper.
The ball rolls out. Trying to keep track of everybody on the field. I have Lambert, Fondez, and Evan Davila as the only first teamers still on the field. So that leaves 7 academy players on the pitch. So a youth movement here for Louisville City as we go to the 90th minute. Lambert got the initial header. He gets the second one as well. The ball rolls back. Fondez touches it forward. Is there one moment of brilliance from this young group? Well, they bring it back with a foul on this side of the field.
It's a bold move from Louisville City, in honesty. If you're Leganés and you're coming to the US as a La Liga team or La Liga 2 team, and your opponents put out their youth team against you, you may take a small offense to that. But again, what's the objective? For each team has their own objective irrespective of what Leganés are doing in their preseason. Obviously, Louisville City have their own things that they're trying to accomplish this season, and they're probably not going to pick the roster based upon Leganés feeling maybe how they may feel towards maybe not competing against the best roster. And I think, as we said, from start to finish, the game stayed consistent. The players who have gone out there consistently represented themselves well, their organization well, and the USM Championship extremely well.
And there's the full-time whistle. So Lou City finishes the match with 8 academy players on the field. But it's the Spanish side that takes the victory tonight by a final score of 2-1. Here today, all the scoring happens in a 21-minute stretch in the first half.
Yeah, I thought the first 30 minutes, 35 minutes was the better display of soccer. And as we said, I thought Louisville City were the more dominant team in those moments. They got punished in a couple of moments through the quality that Leganés has, but very impressed with the 35 minutes, the opening 35 minutes from Louisville City. And then for the remainder of the game, it played out as a very friendly game with so many changes. It was hard for the game to get any kind of rhythm, consistency, or momentum for either side. But great exhibition fan for the neutral, for the fans in the stadium. I'm sure they enjoyed the game, and it was a great reflection of the USL Championship in Louisville City's organization against a top European side.
Nearly 30 different players come in for Lou City in this match tonight. And so we'll step out here for a break before we recap things here from Louisville, Kentucky. It is the Spanish side. Leganés taking out Louisville City 2-1. Chris and I will tidy things up in this full-time highlight session of the International Friendly when we return here to Louisville.
Power up your summer fun with the power of choice. Toyota's lineup offers the most electrified hybrid and all-wheel drive choices out there, like the built-in-the-USA Tundra. Now get 1.99 APR financing on a new 25 Tundra, or $3,000 customer cash. Or lease this new 25 Tundra SR Crew Max for just $419 a month, with 2 years no-cost maintenance. That's the power of choice. Toyota, let's go.
Fresh for everyone. Ready to upgrade your air for less? Durr does that. Right now, get a new water heater for free when you upgrade your heating and cooling system. Saving you money, just another reason A+ Durr is your call for comfort.
On a night where 51 different players step foot on the pitch, it is the Spanish side, Leganés, taking out Lou City by a 2-1 final tonight. As we take a look at tonight's Lynn Family Vision Man of the Match, and it's Jansen Wilson who scored a banger back in the 17th minute of this game. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, back with you here for tonight's matchup as we take a look at the highlights, and that was that moment. 17th minute off of a corner kick. Look at all the time in the world that Jansen Wilson had to finish this one off as we look at the move of the game presented by Toyota.
Yeah, the game didn't disappoint from either team. A moment of brilliance from Jansen here, but we also saw something similar at the other end from De La Fuente.
Wilson hits this ball well, and Lou City was off and rolling. They were dominating the game at that point. They had the majority of the shots, they had the majority of the possession in attacking spaces, but as you mentioned, it comes off of a throw-in, and Miguel De La Fuente, who scored double-digit goals a couple of years ago, would not be denied with this kind of space up top.
Touch, finish, exactly the same as what we just saw at the other end. Fantastic finishing from outside the 18-yard box. Both goals, absolutely beauty, absolute beauty.
So that tied it at 1 apiece, and then after De La Fuente and company celebrated that goal, just less than 10 minutes before halftime, off of a corner kick, this ball fires in, and it is a go-ahead strike that proved to be the winner.
It's always hard when you make a number of changes to deal with set pieces, because when you start the game, everybody has their role and responsibility for set pieces. Number of changes, and then straight after, Leganés punished from this corner kick.
Said scoring what proved to be the game winner in this one. And Lou City's international slate begins with a 2-1 setback to Leganés. They are back in action at home next week against FC Tulsa. We'll have the coverage for you right here once again. The La Liga side, Leganés, wins it 2-1 over Louisville City. For my partner, Chris Nurse, and our entire crew, I'm Michael Watchring. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.
This side of the field, Louisville may be playing at the back a little bit and allowing Leganés to win back possession of the ball.
Ball chipped forward. Lopez spins it across. Now this long distance chance.
From the youngster days.
Blue City, Boyle.
The youngster days.
Blue City, boiling right now. Can they break through? It is Serrano laying it up top. Jansen Wilson whistles this ball. Jansen Wilson scores. A moment that had been brewing. Blue City finally break through after several close calls. A 1-0 lead.
Several being the right word. I think it's probably the 7th shot that Louisville had in his opening 17 minutes. And we spoke about giving the Leganés players time and space around the box. How about if you give Wilson time and space in the box? What a beautiful first touch to set himself, adjust himself around the ball. And I don't think you'll see better strikes than that. Textbook. Leaves the goalkeeper no chance. Soriano doesn't even bother to dive because he knows he's not getting close to that one. But that's what happens if you give Wilson time and space around the box. He can punish you.
Jansen Wilson scored the 3rd goal in the 4-2 win against Cancun in last year.
Right there from the youngster days.
Blue City, boiling right now. Can they break through? It is Serrano laying it up top. Jansen Wilson whistles this ball. Jansen Wilson scores. A moment that had been brewing. Blue City finally break through after several close calls. A 1-0 lead.